Hey, what's happening everybody? Welcome to my first video. Let's see here, this is my 2015 ProMaster City. I've been working on this conversion for about the last year and a half. First of all, I don't live in this. This is simply a vacation vehicle. I have added the wind deflectors and the rack you see on top. And the first thing I want to show you is the solar panel on top. It is a flexible 100-watt solar panel. I attached it with magnets. The height of the magnets happens to be just about the exact same height as the valleys that are in the roof. So the solar panel fits very, very flush to the roof. No chance of any wind coming along and ripping it off. I added a third grommet to the very front edge of the solar panel just to make sure the wind doesn't lift it off. I've had no problem whatsoever with this holding the solar panel down. But of course, with it being sunk to the top of the van, there's almost no circulation underneath it, so it does get very, very hot. So far it's worked just fine with my setup here. I didn't want something on top of the racks because sometimes I put bike racks up here. I have a cargo box that goes on the other side. I wanted the option to put paddle boards up here and so forth. Okay, let me show you the back. Okay, I added these little foam things here, insulation for piping, just simply to protect the actual MC4 connectors from the sun and from possibly rattling on the roof as I drive. I did make my own gange. I could not find one that I liked, so I figured just make my own. Drill press and a router and a little bit of marine plastic did just fine. The hole was actually already in the top of the van to begin with. There was a GPS antenna here, so I didn't have to drill any additional holes in the top to put the solar panel on. I did have a height requirement for this vehicle to fit in my garage, so I had to go with the 6-inch Van Air fans. They were not my first choice. I know they don't push that much air. They are a little bit noisy. Can't use them. Can't have them popped up when you drive and so forth. But they did fit. They fit completely underneath the actual rack itself. If all the 14-inch square hold fans, not only would they have bridged the valleys and the high points, which isn't a huge issue, but more importantly, I couldn't fit the vehicle in the garage, even with them closed. Okay, this right here is actually a mount for a pole for an anemometer that I use out in the desert for kite activities. You can kind of see this right here. Maybe you can see a little bit of dirt right here. And there's a whole series of those all over the top of the roof. And I'll talk about what that is from in a bit. Okay, let me take you around and show you what the solar panel is actually hooked up to. It comes in and of course goes to my power supply, which I'll show that in a little bit, but this is my circuit, my control panel board here. Got lights, front, middle, and back. The fans either being on or off, or controlled by a thermostat. I can't get that thermostat circuit board to work right now. That's something I do need to fix. Fan 1, air in or out. So I do have a switch, have it wired so it can be reversible. I have a regulator so I can actually control the speed of the fans. And then the second fan, either air in or out or off. So I can have one fan blowing down and the other fan blowing out. And I can also control the actual speed of the fans. Overall power to the entire system either can be on, off, or go through a low voltage little circuit board I found. USB ports are on or off. Battery charger, I never actually ended up using this one. That was going to be for a charger for like 18650 lithium batteries or AA batteries or something like that. I never actually ended up using that. This was always going to be empty, just something for in the future. And then this is an ammeter. Right now I'm using about 0.74 amps in the system. Thank you, Jed, for influencing me on where to put the fire extinguisher. You had a build early on where you put the fire extinguisher right by the door. Of course, a CO detector. And let me show you the battery. I went with a Goal Zero Yeti 400. I'm open to replacing it with the lithium one if the prices ever do come down. I went with this because, well, I certainly could have easily sourced out a charge controller, sourced out an AC inverter and so forth. This was much easier. This is all in one package. I can anchor it all down to one spot. I can take it out if I want to. If it gets too hot out here, I can take it and put it inside the house. I can replace the battery if I need to. Everything's all in one spot. Real easy to work with. The cabinet here, the door panels, if you want to call them doors, are all held on by magnets. Same type of magnet that holds the solar panel on the top, but in a smaller variety. These are about half inch in diameter. Sorry, half inch in diameter. I think they're about 3/16 thick, roughly. I'll put the link in the description for where I got those. I got them from a place called K&J Magnets. Okay, and this is the back of the circuit board. The actual control panel there is totally removable. So I did none of this wiring actually out here. All I had to do was connect the 12 volt wires to the circuit board, and that was it. Okay, going to the middle of the cabinet, got a little bit of storage down low. Some pots and pans, some drink mix, some dog food, odds and ends, toys, some cooking utensils, straws, plastic bags, that sort of thing. And on top I have the stove. This is a Snow Peak Baja burner. And this has worked out really, really well when cooking in the van. I actually have a G-Works adapter attached to go between it and a normal Coleman propane tank. I can also use my 1 gallon tank over here to run this if I really need to. But it has worked out really, really well. This wind block here fits between the stove here and the cabinet, so I don't actually start to melt this or catch this on fire here. I've had no problems whatsoever. This never has gotten hot enough to be of a concern. The maps you see here are from mostly southern and central Sierra Nevada. I got the idea for the maps from one of Jed's earlier videos where he did a build with that foam, that polyiso foam I think it is, to actually build a cabinet out of that. That would be really lightweight. Let's see here, I am using a 10-inch circular sink, a little bar sink. This one actually has the tabs underneath, so I can actually anchor it as well from underneath, not just glue it down this way. The RV supply place that had these, they no longer carry these. At least it's not on their webpage anymore. Went with a Whale hand pump sink, and it works just great. Just a little storage rack there, little hooks to hang spoons and so forth. This is my little weather station. Like I said, there's an anemometer I can put on the outside of the vehicle, and this is where the anemometer goes when I'm actually driving. Let's see, place for coffee cups. Bike mounts work great for that. I was looking for some sort of magazine holder, paper file folder holder, and this was the only thing I could find that actually had parallel sides. It didn't just dump the papers out. And you have to buy them in a 2-pack and buy a whole bunch of other stuff as well to get them. But it worked out really well. The panels here on the back are all held up by, of course, magnets. Did not have to drill any holes in the metal back here at all. Not that I'm against drilling holes in sheet metal. I mean, I had to here to put this anchor in here because the additional weight of all this paper, when I shut the door, it knocked this right off the magnets. But if I can not drill a hole in the van itself, that'd be wonderful. Little tiny hook magnets here. The walls are insulated with Thinsulate. And that's stuffed into every single cavity that I could actually get my hands into. Eventually I would like to take these door panels off, the back doors, and insulate inside there as well. Same sort of magazine holder. These are called griddets. Okay, just a little organizer for cables and that sort of thing. This is an L-track anchor setup here. I have the exact same thing in the floor. Okay, so I have the same type of connectors to anchor into the sides here. This could be used to hold a mountain bike up in here. Just a little Bluetooth speaker with, hey, a magnet attached to it. Let me open up the back here. The floor is got 1/4-inch closed cell foam in the valleys, and then another layer of 1/4-inch closed cell foam on top of that, and then 1/2-inch plywood, and then the coin flooring that you see here. The coin flooring does wrinkle when it gets hot and then goes flatter when it gets colder because it's only anchored down. It's not glued down at all. It's only anchored down by the L-track that you can kind of see here. The L-track is anchored into the 3 anchor points per side that the vehicle already had when I got it. I did not have to drill any additional holes in the vehicle to put that in there. The bed is your very, very typical slatted extension bed, so my wife and I can both sleep in here. The actual slats are from an IKEA bed supports, and then I just trimmed them down to work with this. IKEA was an excellent source because these slats were already curved. Not that curve is needed, but they were curved, and they're like, I don't know, like 9-ply, and I thought they were the perfect width as well. Okay, the foam is also from IKEA. That's inside the mattress. It was their cheapest foam bed that they have, and then the upholstery I did myself as well. The pillow made with the extra upholstery fabric. Inside here is a sleeping bag, and the other one has like a down jacket and down hat and it's cold weather gear. That sort of thing. The hardest part of this entire van, by far, was the ceiling. The ceiling is one piece. Well, okay, well it goes up as one piece, but it's constructed of a couple pieces of corrugated plastic glued together and then covered with headliner. And on the top surface is 1-inch blocks that offset it from the ceiling, so I could actually put in Thinsulate insulation again between the ceiling and the roof of the van. So magnets hold the ceiling on, but I also had magnets that hold the solar panel down. One thing I didn't mention is not only do I have those magnets on the top holding the solar panel down, but I also have an additional magnet underneath the roof holding the solar panel magnets on, so they have more purchase as well. All those magnets had to be coordinated so that the north and south poles didn't attract each other and cause problems when I actually put the ceiling up. Anyway, if you have any questions about anything you didn't see here, or anything that I didn't mention, I should say, please let me know in the comments. Hope this was beneficial and hopefully give you some ideas about things. Thanks.